Hold the fuck up. Rewind the tape.
Hello.
Hi. Here we are again. And so soon after our Big B episode, our Big B bonus. So this actually this is the start, the official start, I would say, of season 2 of Wait, Rewind the Tape. Obviously we touched on it last episode. The format has changed. We are no longer together. We can no longer watch 80s VHS porn. Maybe that's what season 3 holds. We'll revisit it. Quite frankly, I'm not I'm not upset though that we've had to shift around the format because I think we needed a break.
Yeah.
This is super fun and we needed a break from those videos because I think towards the end you can sense that we're getting a bit of like fatigue.
Yeah, like how many times can you watch the same thing? And the novelty was wearing off basically. Whereas
Massively.
now I kind of miss like Jerry curls or whatever they were rocking in the gym. Remember that woman getting gangbanged in the gym? That is outrageous.
I miss the high-waisted shorts and underwear.
Yeah, it's a vibe.
The big hair. We miss it. We do miss it. But I think we need a break just to show us what we had. And when we come back to season 3, I like how we're already talking about season 3, which is many episodes away, many vaccinations away.
Oh my God, yeah.
We're going to have a renewed vigor for 80s pornography, I guess.
True story. And this is fun because it's like if we're talking about a new thing every week, it will always be new.
Always.
It's like a film club.
That you can be part of, finally. So, on that note, let's share what we watched this week.
Immediately you forget the name.
Insert drum roll sound. It was Malcolm and Marie. Woo!
Save the cheers.
I mean, it was a bit of a roller coaster.
Just a splash. It wore me out.
So I watched it on a Monday night after work. And I don't watch films during the week. In fact, I barely watch films anyway because I do not have that level of commitment. I will binge watch a whole series in like one night, but you make me sit down and watch a feature-length film, I'm not doing it unless it's for this podcast. Especially on a Monday night after work, I was exhausted. But you know what? I sucked it up, I sat down, and I watched it for you guys. So buckle up and you better be fucking grateful.
Honestly. I saw a tweet yesterday that it was literally what I thought, because when they were rolling out the promo for this film, I just assumed it was about Malcolm X. And I saw a tweet yesterday that said, I thought this film was about Malcolm X. I was like, oh my God, me too. I thought it was just me. It's not.
Not at all, not by a long stretch. Okay, should we give a synopsis for those of you who have not heard about the film?
It's basically, I'm going to obviously describe it really poorly. It's a Black American couple, a filmmaker who has just come home with his girlfriend to a house that they are renting Airbnb style through the production company. It's not an Airbnb. The
production company has put them up in this
gorgeous,
magnificent house.
Love it.
Like what I assume is the canyons, the LA canyons, the hills. No one for miles around, which would be a bit scary for me. But gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Stunning. It was in black and white, so you don't necessarily get a true sense of the interior, but I just can imagine that it was divine.
Yeah. And she's a model.
That was my favorite character, the house.
My favorite character was the view from the window. Oh no, the mac and cheese. Yeah. The view from the window and the like tall grass. Oh, mwah.
That tall grass.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. Oh, do you know the tree? That tree.
Look at what we like. Also,
Give that tree a raise.
the sloping ceiling in the living room. I love slopes and angles in a house. It's just so nice. Yeah. Maybe we should edit this in black and white.
We could do, yeah. These are all options that are available to us. Will we do it? No.
No, of course we won't.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
I was trying to think about what I could wear to represent the film, but as I don't have any like
a white tank top
and white briefs, or a like slinky cutout
stunning dress.
I
don't have a suit either. I don't have a tux. I don't even.
Not one single pair of my tights look like hers. They're all like gross. They've got like cat hair all over them. They probably got like ladders all over. She looked so sexy in those tights.
I do have some tights like that, but I don't have tights with the line down the back, and I think that's the best part.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love me some hosiery, but I never wear. But imagine if I'd come down here in a pair of tights and nothing. You'd be like, what the fuck are you on?
Would I? Would I be like,
okay.
Okay, yeah.
Works. Love it.
That checks out.
No
Fashion
surprises.
show, yes. Okay, right.
Oh, sorry.
Where were we?
Back to the synopsis. So they have just arrived. The couple has just arrived home from a film premiere of the filmmaker's new movie.
When you said you were going to describe this poorly, you really lived up to that.
I feel like I read the synopsis and I'm just trying to regurgitate it, but I can't remember it. So I'm just like...
just ad-libbing. This, sweeties, is what we call improv.
You wouldn't know anything about that.
Get into it.
Like he kept telling her, you don't even fucking know about filmmaking, sweetie.
Oh my God. It was...
We're just going to jump into it, and it's going to be messy. So if you haven't seen the film, this isn't a structured Cliff Note style. This is going to be messy. So just watch the film and get with it, okay? If you haven't, you'll just laugh along.
And don't think that it's messy intentionally, because that reflects the nature of the film itself, which was really fucking messy. That's just how we roll.
Yeah, and we're not...
That's just who we are.
Okay, the first thing that irritated me about this film, the first thing I noticed about this film was... because I expected the beautiful lighting and all that shit. So the cinematography took me by no surprise. But what really caught me off guard was the way they argued in soliloquy. Does that make sense?
I was thinking, like, who speaks like that? Who has time to augment their thoughts like that?
You're speaking like you've written a speech. Like everyone can think like that, I believe, but I don't believe that when you're that angry, you can
off the cuff.
Unless you really just want to fuck something. No, I can't. I mean,
but then sometimes it's like the way they're talking, it's so grandiloquent that you can't.
Yeah.
It's hard to follow. I mean, maybe that's the part of the point. They're just trying to, when you're arguing, you just say nonsense things so that the other person can't quite follow along and therefore can't win the argument because they just don't understand what the fuck you just said.
It's basically like, imagine if The Real Housewives was written by Shakespeare and not edited. Maybe Shakespeare is a bad move.
Imagine if you just started a sentence and you weren't really sure where it was going, and you realized midway through that it was actually going nowhere, but you're in the middle of an argument and you just have to finish.
No, I disagree, because those reads had a beginning, middle, and end. Like they were too determined. Like the middle is where I was just like, this is too much. The beginning I get, the end I get, but the middle, the parts where you're just like, basically they speak like, if you've seen Scandal, they speak like Olivia Pope's dad, but it doesn't make sense because Olivia Pope's dad is like dressing down his daughter or president or something like that. These are a couple at home having an argument, and nobody's just like, do you know what, you stupid cunt? I can't fucking stand you. Yes, they say, I hate you so much, but they say it in this way, and then they give this huge speech, and I'm just like,
It's
no one argues this neatly.
Do you know what? It's because it's like it's because it's theatre. It's not as if it's cinema. It's like it's for the stage.
I would love it on the stage.
like punching out their words, over enunciating, and it is like obviously it's written in such a way that each of them has like long drawn out monologues.
Fact.
While the other one kind of just has to act along silently.
But it's also just watching people argue. I didn't realize that they argued for the whole film. I knew they argued because I'd seen jokes, but I didn't realize the whole film was them arguing.
So again, spoiler, they just, when you think they're about to make up, they just pick they just pick the same fight up again.
Honestly.
And it is exhausting.
I decided today that the film should have been called And Another Thing, because that would have given more of a true reflection. Like, at least I would have known what I was in for. And I'm sorry, but knowing that it was written by a white man makes it I'm sorry, it makes it a comedy. Do you know what I mean? Like,
it's kind of ridiculous. And I just think also,
it was funny as hell.
Would they Zendaya and what's the
I'll look it up.
Guy? Malcolm.
I'll look him up.
I
can't believe Zendaya is an actress who has one name. She's like the only actress that I know who has one name. Oh God.
But she's worked with Sam Levinson before on Euphoria, right?
Yeah. I'm guessing they're friends and that's why they did it together. I would guess. I don't know.
But it still seems weird that they wouldn't question the content that this white man was writing. That is so much of it is so racially charged, and being like, cool, this
he's called John David Washington.
Washington, yeah. It's
oh my God, he's the guy from Tenet. I've never actually watched that film.
No, me neither.
God, his resume is fucking incredible. Okay. I'm going to watch all of his films. Oh, by the way, the performances were good. I find dramas funny anyway. I've never watched a drama and not laughed once. They are funny because it's just like, it's like there was a point where, the point where how can I not remember their names when it's literally the title? This is how bad I am with names.
Malcolm and Marie.
Yeah, literally the title. I still can't remember their names. There's a point where Malcolm was talking about I'm sorry, it's so ridiculous to me. I felt like the writer was getting some bits off his chest about the way the industry is. And I'm just like, I don't give a fuck about all of this.
You chose this. Yeah. You want to know about my industry? Well, let me tell you.
And then when she comes back, it's like, I just can't get over the fact that I know it's a film and it's literally, I would never think about it like that. But I just felt like it's just like listening to the two voices in my head argue while I'm in the kitchen. And I was just like, if I wanted to go through this, I'd literally sit on my own for an hour, or I'd literally get back with my ex-boyfriend. Like, why do I have to be involved in your argument? What am I getting out of this? Anyway, I do think everyone should watch that film though. It's stressful.
I don't agree.
Did you
give or
think
take
it was a good film? I just love that.
I didn't think it was a bad film, but I don't feel like I don't want to I don't want to put my name to that recommendation.
No, I will put my name to that recommendation because it's just like, it is a hot mess. And watch it knowing that a white man wrote it just for no other reason but just to add a comedy element. Because there's parts where I'm just like...
What was he thinking? What was this man thinking when he was writing it? Well, when he was writing about the experiences of Black people
that it's okay, like it's okay for him to write for black characters. Like anyone can write for like any character, and the actors involved were cool with him what he'd written. So it wasn't a mess. It was just also I'm sorry.
I know, I get what you mean, and of course anybody can write anything about.
No, but the reason it was fucked up is because I had to find it out. Netflix purposefully marketed that film as though it was
a black film.
Yeah, it was because they did this interview with Zendaya particularly where she was saying that it was her baby, and it had, or was it a tweet that they made an article about? It was her baby and she'd been working on it.
It was a tweet that they made into an article.
But isn't that literally? That's literally BuzzFeed.
Yeah, true.
And there's another one, and Huffington Post. That's all they are. So I thought that her and, as I'll call him, Washington, I thought they'd sat down together, written and produced this film. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, look what they're doing in quarantine while I'm eating and like listening to old Rihanna songs. Oh my God, I sound like that. What's his name? Shawn Mendes, dickhead. Oh my God, we have to talk about Rihanna's catalogue. I have been listening.
Wait. What?
Sorry, I have no attention span. I've realised. You know, to those that don't know, I'm telling everyone, those out there, I'm doing a basic course at the moment. But the thing is, I have so the lectures are between 30 and 40 minutes. It takes me between an hour and 2 hours to get through that because my attention span is, you've got 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then I'm off. I'm doing something else.
You got to catch my attention.
You can't
immediately. Even if you can, something else. Even if the other thing is shit, it's just new and it's better.
I just don't.
Object.
Yeah, I have to keep jumping. That's why, like, oh yeah. And see, I've done it already. But yeah, back to Rihanna. No, I'm joking. Back to the film.
It was quite. Like they were both a mess, and they were arguing essentially, and it wasn't a stupid thing they were arguing about, but also it was, if that makes sense.
It was only stupid because I was just like, how can you not know what she's when I found out what she was pissed off about, I was like, obviously that's what she's pissed off about, you fucking idiot. Yeah. But then there was points where they were just taking it just way too far. Like when he brought up her suicide attempt, I was like,
yeah,
was that to me was wholly unnecessary. It wasn't until because I felt like the whole first half of the film, he was just so far in the wrong that I was just like, why are you with this man? And then in the second half of the film, I found out that this woman young woman is harboring and not expressing. When I found out she didn't even audition for that film, do you know how pissed off I was? That's when I burst out laughing. I was like, this is a waste of my time.
I thought she did. Oh no, wait, she had an audition, but she didn't go to it.
No, he asked her if she wanted to audition, and she was like, I didn't want to audition because I didn't think you wanted me to audition, which, to be fair, is fact. If you feel like somebody that, especially with a boyfriend, if you feel like they're just involving you but they don't really want you there, it's a horrible feeling.
But when the film is based on your
allegedly
life,
and also I was like, can you just stop with this bullshit? Like, obviously it's like EastEnders cliffhangers 3 times in the film. So the first cliffhanger is, you didn't thank me. The second one is the film based on me. I'm just like, that was the first, but I'm just like, the film based on you. And then it takes them so long to get to the fact that it wasn't based on her, and it could have been a mixture of experiences, but it was based on her, but he'll never acknowledge it. And then she didn't even go to the effing audition. Then they met when she was cracked out. No shade. I don't know why I said that. I'm sorry. This is what I mean when I say I'm so problematic. I'm sorry. Oh, we've all had substance abuse problems. Let's be real. No one was kind enough to drive me to rehab, so I'm bitter. How about that? Anyway.
I feel like that was pointed.
Again. Oh, no, not at you.
I know. Sorry, I'm making it all about me.
Where were you when I needed a lift to should we recreate their fucking bullshit argument? I'm sorry.
Oh my God, don't, because I would have been like, where were you when I needed to go? I was like, you were there probably, yeah.
I was there like this.
You okay, hun?
What's this one? No help whatsoever.
Like, does anybody want to take her to rehab?
Is this normal, or is this what we're doing?
Do we do something here? Yeah, I'm like, okay. Yeah, lots of cliffhangers. To be honest, even the first bit when she revealed that he didn't thank her, I was like, oof. Because even if there was nothing else before that is fucking like. I've got quite like. No, I won't say like messed up. I definitely have a lot of stuff, a lot of issues around gratitude, and it can send me nuts when I feel like I'll take a lot. I can be taken for granted, quote unquote, quite a lot. But then there'll be and I'm just like, okay, cool, that's fine. I mean, in my head, I'm like taken for granted, but if you looked at it objectively, it probably wouldn't be the case.
It probably would. It probably would.
There's one thing. There'll be something that's it, and it fucking like I can tailspin like nobody's business over gratitude and feeling.
But that's
like
it. Okay,
people don't.
He was minimizing her problem, because that anyone would be pissed off with that. Like literally,
totally.
I hate when people say anyone would be pissed off with that, because that reminds me of what my ex-boyfriend used to say to me. Anyone would. And I'd be like, well, anyone's not here, bitch. It's me and you.
It's me.
But that's just, he was making it sound like that was a petty thing. But when he said, I asked you repeatedly if you were cool, and you were cool, and then suddenly you weren't cool. I'm not going to tell you in the middle of a film premiere that I'm not cool. Why would you not?
Obviously.
And if you genuinely forgot and you're sorry, then don't come home with an attitude. But you're on a high because it's your film premiere, and really and truly, you don't give a F what else is going on.
But then also the mac and cheese.
What was that about? What was that supposed to symbolize? Home?
I suppose her being a home, yeah. Her being a homemaker, or her like doing. They like mac and cheese.
Now you're writing a film. Oh my God! I won't. I'm gonna get. Yeah, I'm not gonna do it.
I think because she was also saying, thanking me for, doing the washing, doing things. She listed off a load of like what traditionally would be seen as women's work.
Yeah.
And I think it's just the unseen things that you do for a partner that get taken for granted, because they're just things, because they get done for you, you don't even see them happening.
Yeah. They did. Their dynamic did remind me actually of the only real relationship I've ever had, like the one that was like a couple of years. Not in a. I don't mean we had like toxic arguments, but it does remind you that when you're in a couple, you do fucking get into it, man. Not often. They seem like they don't talk. That's what pissed me off. I'm like,
they seem like this is every fucking night for them.
Yeah, like break up.
But how? And yeah, sure. There's like they seem to be, but that's the thing. I also was like, it doesn't feel like they're even in love. Like borderline hatred and resentment. Love, and I know they say that they are, but they are so. It doesn't feel like it's a relationship that was so fueled with passion.
They say that's what they say then. There's a thin line between love and hate. But the thing is, even the healthiest couples
that it's like
have
constantly making up and breaking up,
and you have a fight.
Just felt
your fight is never a self-service fight, especially if you know each other well. And it's not like it's not a fight to break up. Like I've also noticed I do that. I will fight someone because I want them to go away. So I'm like, and another thing, because I just can't be asked to be like, listen, let this. I can't be asked. So I'm like looking for a problem. But when you're actually in like a real relationship where you're just like, okay, I actually want to be in this relationship. The depth of the fight is. That's the one thing that was realistic, will take you by surprise. You think you're arguing about one thing, and next thing you know, you're talking about when you were at his mum's house 2 weeks ago, and then his aunt said this to you, and you're just like, whoa.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is the cunt anyway.
Well, really, it just shows you how important
Communication is.
communication is in a relationship or just in general.
You're still gonna fight, though.
No, I'd get that totally. And maybe we haven't seen the good days with Malcolm and Marie, so we can't really be making a judgment. Maybe we are judging them harshly, these two fictional characters being there only for one night with an explosive argument. But they don't come across as like a couple that
I think that
communicate.
I know obviously I might be projecting. I feel like he really loves her, but he's also a bit of an egomaniac. She is young and is giving herself over to this Susie homemaker role that she's finding no fulfillment in. Shock. Have you ever read a book? Have you ever watched Mad Men? Anyway, have you ever had parents, grandparents? It doesn't work. Hello. Anyway, she's trying to do that. And also we're forgetting, and it's just like she's trying to live a sober life, and then she also carries a lot of guilt and shame over her previous addiction. But the second you bring up the fact that I tried to kill myself with a pair of nail scissors or whatever in an argument, that's when I am literally going to knock you out.
Yeah. And
it's
also
over.
when he's coming in and just listing off all the other women that he's been with,
I didn't think that was that bad. I thought that was justified, because otherwise that was more for the viewer, because otherwise I wouldn't have thought, okay, yeah, he's lived, he's loved a lot of women who have had a lot of issues.
Yeah, I mean, addicted to the drama much. Jeez.
I also resent that, because that is just real life. Everyone has. I don't know anybody who hasn't had like serious mental health issues at one point, or a serious catastrophe happen in their life. Yet when you talk about it, people make it sound like it's drama, but drama is a part of life.
Yeah, but he also made it sound like he was. And yeah, I suppose a lot of people are drawn to what he called "quote unquote" broken people, broken women.
No. That's something that is a malicious thing that people say to, because when you say broken women, it's like a stereotype of a woman, but really everyone's broken in some way. So he's trying to just pull on a trope to make her feel small. Because that whole,
and he did. That was horrible. Like when he said the thing that was based on you was at the end, when she was just so what, I can't even remember what he said, but that was like
he took in the first half. I just thought he took it too far twice. Also, when he entered the room and she didn't want him in the room, I didn't like that. I know it's such a small thing, but it's just like don't like shit like that. But outside of that, I don't know. I just thought there's no resolution, and I get it, but I think I did enjoy it though. In retrospect, I did enjoy it because I'm a sadist. I'm a sicko. Because at the time, I was just like, every time she would go back in the room to start a fight, I was just like, if you don't shut the fuck up, I'm not watching this.
Oh,
but
God,
now, in retrospect, I'm like, I actually need to watch that again.
I don't know. I just don't think I could.
It's a good film.
But you know what? I am glad that she did keep bringing in talking about stuff rather than just like letting it go.
I don't know. I don't know. It just felt very much
it feels like a bit of a and I could see how, and like, this is through no fault of her own, but how exhausting it would be, because I think I probably would be like that, where you're just like angry about something, you don't talk about it, then you do talk about it, but maybe not, you kind of talk around it or don't get to the real thing, and then maybe you make up, but then something triggers you and you haven't let it go and you can't let it go, and you go around in the circle, and it's such a it's like picking somebody up and down again, and they're like, one minute they think it's okay and then it's not. Again, this has happened to me before as well, and like that's probably where I've learned this.
You have a right
really
to change your
behavior
mind. But it's also, it's not, I guess it's written to be relatable, but it's also like you at any moment you feel how you feel. Like you can't control your emotions as much as people say you can, and they try and teach you all this freaking mind control. You have to accept your emotions in the moment, and you can't force yourself to be over something. It comes up when it comes up. But I was just tired of hearing about it because I'm just like, well, I didn't do any of this, so why do I have to sit through this? Do you know what I mean? It's like I didn't do anything wrong, so why
What
am
did
I
you
involved?
what did you explain? Like, because you've chosen to put Netflix on, and like you're like,
Is
guys,
that
can
what
you
I
sort
deserve?
this out? Like, what was the alternative? You're like, guys, you're interrupting me watching
I
the
was
tall
watching
grass.
Shameless. Like,
I want to watch the tall grass. True. I was kind of thinking I could, instead of watching a full like 1 hour, 40-minute film or whatever, however long it was, I could just be watching like 6 episodes of The Office instead.
imagine if they cut down The Office to all the disagreements only.
That would
All
be
the-
hilarious.
No, all the serious scenes. I hate the serious scenes. The only reason I can tolerate them is because they're very far and few between. Imagine if it was just all the serious scenes. Imagine if it was, this is what, do you remember that season of The Office? Is it the last season, the final season, where Jim and Pam are fighting? There's an episode where Jim says to Pam, where Pam says to Jim, but if you come home, all we're going to do is fight. And he's like, let's fight then. That's what they did when they got home.
that was the white people version of Maria Mecca.
What's the
Jim and Pam?
Oh my god. Okay. All I do is for you, Jim. Every day I prop you up. I didn't think you wanted me to really come to Philadelphia. I don't care. Where's Dwight?
Oh my god.
You are getting on my last
This is boring. I would rather watch Meredith than this. God damn it.
Meredith is hilarious. Oh my god. But yeah, it was a good film. It was nice. It was nice to look at, but I just can't get over the fact, first of all, that it was written by a white person. That will just never not make it funny to me. It will always be hilarious. I want everyone to just skip to the monologue that the filmmaker makes about what it's like being a black filmmaker and how his art is received because of his blackness, and just
how his art is received by white people and how it can never be. He's always compared to like legends of film, like who are black, and everything can't just be about a human experience. It has to be about a black human experience.
Also,
and then when you
be honest, that whole thing, like, I don't mind it as a part of a film, but I'm going to sound problematic again. I'm kind of. It's just the way it was presented was very stale. But I guess racism is stale at this point. Like, it's the same shit.
Do you want it to be fresh? Like,
I just want
fresh racism, please.
It just, I know I'm only saying this. It's just like, how am I supposed to connect with this? This isn't how the writer feels. This is just what.
This isn't how the white writer feels.
Is this a problem you often have? Oh my god, it reminds me a bit of I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying this, but there's times where Quentin Tarantino,
I've never liked Quentin Tarantino.
Wow. Where he really oversteps.
Gratuitous violence for me.
Okay, fair enough. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just, and I just really want to hear from the people who genuinely loved the film and didn't see all of this. Like, what did you think? And I wonder if I didn't know it was written by, I just feel like they should have just marketed it completely differently.
They would have got so much backlash, though, don't you think?
If they just said this is a white writer. It was a team effort with this guy as well.
he was there. And but hold on, like, maybe we're being a bit facetious here, and like, it's not just one person that writes a film, right? So who else was at the writing? Use the
No,
sole writing
it
credit.
says
Sam
the
Levinson,
credits are
no
really
one else
short.
wrote this.
It literally says screenplay Sam Levinson, and he directed it as well. He's a good director. I was going to say he's great, but then I remembered how much he pissed me off with that fucking monologue. Oh my God, there are so many things I never want to hear again in my life. And I liked, okay, so in the film, in the screenplay, in the words.
And yet you want to go and watch it again.
It's the same thing I was doing. So I was watching this video on, it was this like black feminist talking about how, I don't even want to say this because I feel like I'm being spicy, but I'm actually not. How the idea of how just simply being black and being like explicitly sexual isn't necessarily revolutionary or empowering. And stuff like that I usually don't watch because it triggers me in a really weird way. And I feel like it reaffirms like new wave feminist ideas that were predominantly white. And it also reaffirms like a weird kind of sexual respectability politics whereby you cannot be a revolutionary and be like a black leader and be naked or sexual. It's just not accepted. To this, I still think to this day, like even the people who even who are like, they'll be pro everything, but they themselves, you'll never see them in a sexy light. Do you know what I mean? It just, and it kind of, it's just like it, without meaning to, I internalize all that shit. And then it makes me stop being able to be myself. And it frustrates me because I always think like, are the points that you're making worthy of making them? Because aren't you just doing more harm than good?
It's that whole intent versus impact thing. Like you may not intend for people to feel a certain way, or maybe they do, I don't know. But the impact of that is then people or young women, well, young anybody, young or old, I suppose, anybody, then feeling like they can't have self-expression and also be taken seriously and also be proud of where they're from and also be potentially like rise up into leadership positions or be any kind of activist that isn't a body positivity or body acceptance activist if what they choose to do is show their body. Like it's a harmful impact, and maybe they didn't intend that, but potentially some people might.
But it's basically, it's just an argument that that isn't as revolutionary as you think it is. That's how it comes across in my mind. But I always think that no, but because they were specifically talking about what and how it's a bop, and it's a good song. It's not bad. And then they were talking.
They were kind of reducing it to just the fact that it's.
No, I don't think it was a reduction. I honestly, nothing they said was that bad. But I just feel like, oh, maybe I'm selfish. It's like if you, as a black woman, I'm telling you right now, there is so much pressure. Like I don't know, you go on Instagram or whatever, and you see loads of women, especially singers and actresses, in their underwear, doing this, doing that, and I feel like people don't realize that every time you show yourself like that, you get backlash or grief, even if you're not visible at all. But I hate that there is such a not to be sexual because you want to be different. Like, it's like, if you're sexual as a black woman, it's like, well, you're just like everybody else. Everybody's doing this, everybody's doing that. I can't be different. And it's like, but this is who I am. That's not fair either. So shut the fuck up. Sorry. I have issues. I'm sorry. We'll have to edit that down. It's just
No.
these are the voices. I'm like, I already have a voice. I've had a voice trapped in my head since I was little and I went to church telling me bad, sexual, bad. So I already have that. Anybody who's adding to that, I don't care what the fuck you think you're doing, you're making it harder for me. Me personally. Shut up. I don't like
dare you. But then there's also what if you do overcome that voice and then you're like, no, I'm gonna post this, or I'm gonna send this, I'm gonna do it anyway. Then the fallout, like the emotional fallout from that, even before anybody says anything, because of all of these internalized feelings, is just horrible. You're just thinking, well, great, now everybody's gonna think
they do. Oh my god, when I
whatever,
post stuff
and
like that, I don't think like, oh, obviously men sexualizing you or slut shaming you or whatever. I don't give a fuck. There is something I do like. There are things I do care about whether I like it or not, and I feel like other women who I respect's opinion of me, I've never been able to. Their opinion does not matter. I think I should, because I shouldn't care what anyone thinks, but it's so difficult because they're the only people really who can hold you accountable when they're also saying that it's just hard. Yeah, it's just hard. And I'm sure I'll overcome this in a few years, but it's just, I've never been able to so far. So, and it's just like when I see somebody problematic saying stuff like that, I'm just like, oh, I think that it's, if you yourself don't, if I heard that from, say, it's also the person who says it. If I heard that from somebody if it was somebody like me, like quite risque things, he was saying like, that's not all the work there is. Like, there's a lot more to this work. You can't just post pictures and say, oh, I'm a feminist. That's not the work. But seeing I feel like when you're not actually a sex worker and you don't have any content that could be considered sexual, you're so far removed from it. No one is going to put you that sticky. So you can literally say whatever you want and you get to be seen as clean. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's your clean and demonizing something that you're not involved in, or you have no experience of, or at least no public experience of.
And that's the thing.
And then it creates that thing that, again, where it's like the other, you're just constantly othering people, and creating this. We spoke about it last episode about how it, like, when people are with like in the film industry or TV or anything, when people are just incredibly beautiful all the time, it just creates this sense that there's those people and that's for them, and then there's people like us. And this is a similar thing where it's like, well, yeah, if you behave like that and you want to sexualize yourself, then you are there. And we're here.
To be honest, I don't think that that's really what they feel, because these are the same people who advocate for sex workers and seem very genuine and engage with their work. It's just like, it's not necessarily their fault, but for somebody like me who's from a very conservative background, I'll just put it this way. Human sexuality is the one area where I just wish everyone would shut up. Also, and I don't mean that to the person who made that video, I just mean in general, like, I just don't want to hear any opinions anymore. It's like, it's too easy to internalize things. And I've also learned to switch off. So if I, for example, follow an artist and they say like amazing things about everything, and then there's something to do with expressions of sexuality, overt expressions of sexuality from normal civilians, and they say something you feel away, it's just like, I don't know. And maybe I'm missing the point of what they were saying. But it's also like, if we live in a world where sex is still so disgusting and taboo and stuff. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm going off on a tangent. Honestly, it doesn't fucking matter. I'm just insecure, man. It is what it is. How did Malcolm and Marie make you feel? Like, because I felt like it was very, not without probably meaning to be, in terms of a depiction of a woman. It's like very like, it's been a long time since I watched something and felt far away from, it just felt like very Hollywood. You know what I mean? Like it's like a very thin, beautiful woman, and
As
even in their
yeah,
blackness,
oh my God.
like in the black
Like,
and white, like you can see she's
so
extremely like light skinned. But the thing is, she's a mixed race woman, and no
she's
one ever
so
says that. She's always
fair-skinned,
described as
yeah.
black, and I'm just gonna, boop, I'm just gonna, fuck.
Yeah.
It's just weird. It's like I feel like before, if you were
Yeah.
biracial or multi-ethnic, it would kind of be known. Of course, it's like, and now it's like you can't say anything because it's like you're taking someone's blackness away from them. But it's like, but you're literally not. You're just acknowledging that wholeness of who they are, and it's just, I don't know. I just did, but whatever.
I think it says, yeah, I suppose contextual, isn't it? Contextual. Some taking away somebody's blackness by referring to them as mixed race, I think is more, which just referring to her as a mixed race actress wouldn't do. That's just a fact. It's not saying she's mixed race and therefore she hasn't experienced any sort of racism.
Not.
That's not
In
what
her
it's saying. But I
dreams.
see what you're saying. Like, yeah. But she would have also benefited from colorism.
She's acknowledged that plenty of times.
Yeah.
But
And
I don't mean that she shouldn't be black. I'm not saying that at all. It's just she's one of the few public figures that I've, like, it's never mentioned. Maybe I just don't listen to enough news.
But was the original question, how did watching it make me feel as a woman in terms of like
looks on the shallow scale? Did you feel
on
it,
the
or
shallow
did you
scale?
did you
Of
notice?
course I felt it.
Okay.
Of course. She is like that, especially that is what we would have, I think, growing up, that in the age that we grew up was like
we grew up
the
in a size
archetypal
0 age. I was thinking about that the other
Yeah,
day.
it was really fucking hard.
Remember when
And
Jennifer Aniston telling everyone to just eat meat? That was an insane time to be alive. We were literally alive at a time where everyone was just eating meat so they didn't gain any weight. Like the whole diet. That was nuts, but also hilarious. Shout out to Jennifer Aniston and Atkins.
it was, just not really a good time to grow up in terms of body image. And she's just, I mean, she's a really beautiful woman. There's no two ways about it. And but it did, watching it, I think it made me feel old feelings of unworthiness and unattractiveness, because that's like, I'm first start, like, how tall is she? She's like, I mean, I don't know actually how tall she is, but she looks like she's supermodel tall and just supermodel thin, which couldn't be further from, like, well, I mean, no, I guess it could be, but like, that's not my body shape. It never will be. Even if I lost loads of weight, which I don't want to do, or I'm not saying that I will. I'm never going to be that tall. That's just not like, not sure. I'm an average sized woman, so it just feels really like, well, like unattainable to me. And when you see something like that, and it's not her fault, it's like that, and I can't say it sounds mean, because there obviously that is
it's her natural body size.
a body
like, she can't
shape.
help
There
that
are
she
women
looks
out there
like
that aren't, but like, it just feels like that's
I think it's
what's prized. And but I feel like I'm saying that as if it's not that shouldn't be prized, and of course it should,
just because it's like a throwback.
Prized.
Because I've seen her in other things and never ever noticed that about her. I think it's just like the way it's shot and everything. It is supposed to look like old Hollywood, and then when coming from where we're from, it just makes you realize there was that like 10-year block where And I'm sure, I know obviously it's not just 10 years, like size has always been a thing, but that size zero situation was mental. It was really mental. There was like, yeah. However, I would say
It was
I was
really hard.
surprised that, like, in the beginning of the film, well, I wanted to know how you felt. In the beginning of the film, I noticed it, but as the film went on, I kind of let go and forgot.
Yeah, it's not like she lost her look, because she was also done up and her makeup was, great. What really got me was when she walks right in and she just goes and sits on the toilet and she just like pulls down her tights and sits down, and she just, this shot of her when you can just see like her legs sitting down and in her, like, it's so beautiful. Like, how does one look stunning on a
I
toilet?
hated that bit. I was like, I get it. You're a couple. You're at home. This is the gloves are off. I'm like, I fucking get it. Jesus, this is like EastEnders. They just have to make it so
Not the first
obvious.
time.
Why is this annoying me so much? But honestly, I'm going to regret. I just want to
Yeah.
let everybody on this listening to this podcast know that after we finish recording the podcast, and I'm genuinely honest and I give my honest opinions, which are fleeting, I feel pure. Like last time, I could not sleep. I'd said something and I was like,
Oh, for worry.
I'm doing way too much on this podcast. Like, where's the comedy? I'm just talking shit. And I mean it.
I do feel like that is an element that we're missing, and I'm not saying that before when we were watching porn we were so fucking hilarious, but we are missing we're missing
For
the
sure.
lols,
And
we're missing some of the cheap
thrills.
cheap laughs that
And it's
pornography
also
brings.
difficult talking. I feel like a twat talking about, like, because even, okay, so let's say this conversation we've just had, which is literally about a film, and the film reminds you of this, you remember that is somebody's work. The people that you're talking about, real people. And then I personally feel so guilty about everything I've said. And I know it's an irrational guilt, and I hope I get over it. And even like critiquing people's opinions, I'm like, that's somebody's opinions, and that's somebody who's read more books than me. And I feel bad. But maybe this is a conversation for my therapist, not the podcast. Jesus. I've just realized, I was like, oh. Okay. Wrong
Do tell
call.
us what
My
your
bad.
therapist
Sorry,
does say,
guys.
though. Like, maybe. Can
If
any of
you've got
you
any tips or
help?
tricks?
Actually, don't help.
But yeah.
Unless you're a licensed professional.
Sorry, guys. We've got basically,
um,
long story short, we have nothing to say on that film. Both actors played their roles greatly. The dialogue was tricky because nobody argues like that neatly with a fucking conclusion at the end.
But then also, no one ever really. People
true.
don't
And maybe,
often always speak how they speak in films anyway.
no, and maybe I just haven't dated
I'm
people who
never
are
as
really,
eloquent
really
as
like,
they are in
I
films.
can put together a whole lot. But first of all, I'm not letting you get through that speech. As soon as you start talking shit, you think I'm going to let you get to the point where you're telling me about the time you drove me to rehab? Get a fucking grip. It's not happening. That's why I'm single. But honestly, if that's a relationship, count me out.
If I say, why didn't you say thank you? Do you know what though? What if I was in that situation, I probably would have got to the point where I would be able to say, like, you didn't say thank you, but it would have got to, like, I would have got there at the end of the film after just being just sad and not speaking to the other person. And then it would have just been horrible. And then they would have said something, they might have apologized, or they then might have, if they would have treated me the same way and withheld, like, the minute you start withholding like affection or anything like that from me, I'm like, oh God, I'm sorry, I'm the one that was wrong. Like, it doesn't matter that you don't say, it doesn't matter that you didn't say thank you. I'm thanking you for being you and for loving me. And I would, like, just fucking backtrack and then lose all integrity.
No, when you're with someone for a long time, that shit fades. Because after a while, you just know what, I don't even fuck with you. I don't even like you. Okay, let's get that straight. But yeah, apologies to everyone we've offended during this podcast.
Mhm.
Remember that we are novices and we're just here for the laughs.
Even though we're not
and
providing
yeah,
any.
we're just living
Yeah.
life.
Apologies to
Get those on your own, bitch. Sorry.
There are some episodes of season 1 we can direct you to if you want a cheap laugh, because some of them are really actually very funny.
Yeah, honestly. Can I just quickly talk about Joanna Lumley? This is random. Okay. She really irritated me.
What's she done? Did she not thank you?
She didn't do anything. She just spoke. I'm sorry, but people should not be allowed to speak right now because they're just saying dumb shit every day. But for her, obviously, growing up in England, right? Basically, if I hear a really posh person who speaks like this, who's grown up with considerable privilege, making comments of like that remind me of like, okay, what's that war propaganda that everyone always says? Keep calm and carry on.
Yeah.
I would say my ethos is like
that is so overdone.
Basically, she was coming with that vibe. I don't think I fuck with her.
What do you mean about the pandemic?
Yeah.
But it's also like, well, you've probably, quite high up the list to get a vaccine.
She said, Britain is not awful, we're good people. I'm already triggered. Have you been outside, mate? It's just like this constant romanticizing.
If you even have to say Britain is not awful, we're good people, please. We're good people. We didn't deserve this.
You did this. This is you. Did you know she describes herself
as
a
long
child
time
empire?
ago?
Who describes themselves as a child of the empire?
As a what? Sorry?
A child of the empire.
A child of the empire. Ooh.
I think she was born in India. Let me not misquote this woman, but everything she says, I'm just like, the fact that you're saying these statements and you don't even realize how messy this is, it's just why I can't. And I know she's considered like a human rights treasure. Also, I feel like if you are extremely wealthy, especially if you're English, you shouldn't be allowed to be like considered. Oh my God, I'm going to hell. Guys, we know I'm going to hell and I'm a twat, so it's fine. You shouldn't be allowed to consider to be rights activists, like, just as a general rule.
This is you paying dues. This is reparations.
I know this is like, I know you're on some fuck shit, even when you're out there doing your little. I love that I've called it little. Like, didn't she save like? I feel like I can't remember the fact that I can't remember what she did, but I'm sure Harry will let us know. Shout out to Harry for correcting us when we have no idea.
Harry. Oh my God, all the time. Yeah, actually, shit, we should probably bring this up. So, firstly, apologies to anybody called Simon. We're not saying, like, we like the name, we just don't necessarily love it for a baby. But for a man.
Also, if we are very fickle, you know for a fact, if you're called Simon and we met you tomorrow and we liked you, we'd be like, I love that name. It's my favorite name.
Would we? Or would we be like, oh God. I don't think we could. I think we'd be like, shit, what if he hears this? I've already said too much. Never mind.
I'm already scared that one day Zendaya will hear this. I'm already scared. We're like, no, that's not what we meant.
No,
there's nothing wrong with your body. You're very beautiful, and we're not reducing you to the way you look. We're just considering the fact that when you're consistently seeing people who are very thin on television, it gets into your mind and you will internalize that. Yeah, and you will start to feel like you are in relation to what you're seeing. And it was just a comment on that, because it's not, even though people, like when we were talking about when we watched Girlfriends or when you watched like Sex and the City or whatever, all these shows, just like, these people are so thin. Like, what are the chances that four friends that have real jobs are this thin?
No, that is, but then think about growing up in all like coming of age, to speak, being in the fashion industry in our 20s, that was what everybody was like. So for me, I felt like I went through school like that and then straight into work, and that's what I was seeing. And we were in offices where people were talking so much about
Oh my
being fat,
God.
losing weight, like what everybody was going to be eating.
Oh
And
my
like
God.
I'm there, like, and I'm not at all like I'm a
Yeah.
regular sized person. It's not like I'm not overweight or anything. Again, not that
There
would
is no
be
overweight.
like a
You
terrible
just
thing,
didn't
but
want
like
to say
I'm there
fat,
thinking
but you're allowed to say fat. I don't know. I feel weird about saying fat too, but I just don't
yeah.
overweight. I don't.
Again, because we've been conditioned to think, well, fat equals bad and fat is derogatory. So even saying it, but yeah, I wouldn't say that I was fat by any stretch of the imagination, but I felt and still carry that. So when I see Zendaya on screen, I'm like, I feel like a sack of potatoes, which I love to eat, but don't necessarily want to look like. And yeah, some of the shit that are like peers and colleagues and friends, good friends would say and talk about was just nuts. And I'd be sat there just thinking, like, I don't look like you. I don't have the same body shape. I don't have like toned everything, flat stomach, any of that kind of stuff. And now I have to listen to this. But yeah, of course, it wasn't bullshit in your head. It was like, for me, it was
And
like,
it's not just, you know,
okay, this is actually
I
just
used to think it was
like
fashion, and I thought, oh my God, all
I'm a
anybody talks about is
fat
their
sack of
diet.
shit.
Like when I would see what people are eating, I was like, this is mental. You survive off a slice of avocado and 5 cucumbers and half a Rivita. Like, and then I would obviously bring my lunches in because, you know, I like to eat and I love junk food. So I'm bringing my lunches in. Oh my God. Everyone was
And
just on
everyone's
my
like,
case,
oh my God,
angry. And
rude.
I'm just
You
like,
eat
I
so
think one time I did
much.
snap and I was just like, I said something like, because I'm not always on a diet like you bitches or something like that. And everyone was like, "Ah."
Yeah.
And I was just like, fuck off. But however, no, but it's just because fair, just because you see someone
But
and
it
you
was
like their body
fair.
type, that is already a problem. Like I realized that obviously I've put on a lot of weight this last year. And the first thing that started coming up, this is what really irritated me because I knew at the time I was like, when I put on weight, because I've always known like my weight is I'm not a weight person, so my weight is gonna fluctuate and I'm okay with that. This constant positive reinforcement and people basically seeming to want to
Mm.
be around me and be friends with me and liking me and thinking this is a good thing about me. When I don't have this anymore, it's gonna fuck with my head. Because it's like people like, yeah, people like your thinness. Like people treat you like you're special if you look a certain way. So when you don't look like that anymore, it's like you're literally losing your privilege. But it's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
just that
yeah.
you're losing your privilege, it's literally it's like literally you aren't gonna like
Yeah.
people aren't gonna like me anymore. And it's like it's okay. You think you're okay with it because you're like, listen, if somebody's acting like that towards me, I know that deep down they don't fuck because they would never say stuff like that. But then when it still fucks with your head. It
Mm.
does. It's not a good thing. Base the value that you see of other people and yourself
Yeah.
comparatively, constantly comparing yourself out loud to other people. It's just messy.
It is, but it's really hard to break the habit.
Lord knows.
And if I'd seen this film, Malcolm and Marie, in case anybody was had forgotten, because we're not talking about it at all, if I'd seen this like maybe 5 years ago, um, maybe even less, it would have. I'm not going to say be over dramatic and say it would have had a massive impact on me and my body image, but it definitely would have had more of an impact now. But then also, right now, I am not carrying as much weight as I have done in the
You have an
past.
ideal weight.
And I think that's also, I'm not like, again, I hate to say I'm not where I'd want to be, because that's just so stupid and it's, again, problematic in itself. But I don't, yeah, but it's like so arbitrary that it doesn't make, but I don't have a scale, so I don't weigh myself. So
That really shocks me. Okay, so listeners, Natalie is not like someone who you never ever talk about yourself like that, ever. Like your weight and stuff. You never ever mention it.
because
racking my
I'll tell you for why. It's because it's something that I am so sensitive about and have been so sensitive about, that I feel like I don't want to draw attention to it, because then I feel that that's what people will see. It's like drawing attention to something you hate about yourself, and something that you feel is imperfect will then highlight it, and then people will notice it, and then people will see it. So things that I really, really, really don't like about myself, you will probably rarely ever hear me talk about them, because it's I guess like because I'm so ashamed about them. So there you go. Real time on.
I know.
Wait, rewind the tape.
We're getting into
unpack that.
But also, just in case you're internalizing this, when you meet people, good people worth your time, they're not judging you on arbitrary things. Like, for me anyway, I want to be around people who are, when I was young, do you know what, I also think this goes back to that thing about not knowing I hate somebody. Because I am a very prickly, I don't want that kind of, because I'm just already like, I can't be arsed. So like, I'll often end up like forced into these situations where I'm just like with a load of people, and I'm just like, I don't fucking want to. So I just, but I used to work in environments where people were fun. So eventually, like, someone's going to be fun enough that like, you're like, I'm not really assessing whether I like you or not. I'm just like, oh, you seem fun.
That's how I got into Ruth's life. Before she was like,
that is not how you got into my life. I'm like, yeah, but I feel like our relationship is so long, and so like, me and Natalie have genuinely grown into our friendship, and that's why it's such an amazing friendship, because it's not like
we really wouldn't be who the other person is.
Like, we are nothing
without the other one.
We are nothing like we were when we met. We are, obviously we are, but it's obviously.
I hope, like, the good parts that not that the hurt parts that that definitely caused, at least me, I'm not going to speak for you, to act out and behave super poorly are healing.
When did I act poorly? I don't remember. I do not recall.
That is why I'm speaking for myself, not for you.
I'm an angel. Okay.
As we know, you are a woman of integrity.
I've described myself as a twat, an angel, an insecure bitch. I'm on a roll today. I'm a bitch. I'm a lover. I'm a fucking mess, bro.
Just everything.
I'm only human. Malcolm Marie. That's what the fucking film was. Oh my god. 100%. He kind of looks like my ex as well. Only in this film. He looks nothing like my ex in any other film he's been in. It's only because he's in black and white. But sorry, I'm literally looking for a picture to send to Natalie on WhatsApp, which is so unprofessional. But there's a picture of it. The film reminded me of this picture of me and my ex when we were fighting. We went to we went to one of his gigs. This is the only ex I could talk about and not feel weird, because like, I know he doesn't care. You've met him. Yeah. Like, oh no, I'm mixing it up. Yeah.
No, I know who you mean.
And there's a picture of us. We were fighting, and we've gone to this gig, and I'm wearing like this like rockabilly style gingham dress,
like Dorothy.
I meant dog tooth. Oh my God, I meant what a dumbass. Oh my God. No, sorry, I was wearing a dog tooth dress. I was wearing a fucking gingham dress. And so there I am. And he's in front of me and he's like really nervous biting his thumb. And I'm just sitting there like this. And it's in black and white.
Oh, I think I actually, no. I was going to say, I feel like I know the picture, but would I? Oh, God. If I do know this picture and it's like hidden in the depths of your Facebook, then it's going to be super embarrassing for me. Why do you know this picture, Natalie?
It wasn't that many years ago that you would know all of somebody's pictures on Facebook. Like when you add them, you'd go through all their pictures, but now there's no pictures on there.
Do you remember just the fear after a night out of logging onto Facebook and seeing the fucking notifications?
Never had it.
Because it was back in the day. What? Back when we were at university and people would still had digital cameras, and you would take, and there'd always be like some people that were just always taking pictures, and they'd take like 70 pictures in a night, and then they'd upload them all the next day, and then just go through and tag everybody. But you know that you're a fucking drunk bitch, and it's going to be a horrible picture, and they're not your friends, so because they don't know you. You've just met like 2 weeks ago at Freshers Week. They don't give a fuck. They just want to make sure that somebody looks more drunk than them, and they're tagging you in all these pictures. And
I'm just gonna be.
It's horrible.
I looked cute. I was hardly tagged in any pictures, and the ones I looked nice. I only had 3
Good for you.
And when I went out in large groups or whatever, like I wasn't the person, like, you know how people take loads of pictures of like there's 2 or 3 people everyone takes pictures of. I wasn't that person, so I was probably in like 1 or 2 pictures. So do you know what I mean? I'd keep it together. And I remember there was my friend who I went to school with. Maybe this is what she meant. She got really like irritated with me. You're really photogenic. And I was like, first of all, how are you giving me a compliment? Like it's an insult. And I was just like, I'm literally not. I'm just not as I'm not drunk and I'm not as visible.
In
That's all it
photos.
is. I'm not visible. I'm not in your like say there's a we all go out together in a group. I'm in 2 pictures. And then by the time I started to get really, really, really messy and go on really crazy night, the kind of girls that, no shade, I shouldn't say girls, I shouldn't make it gendered, the kind of people that would take pictures, they were just like fucking the cool kids that listened to the Smiths and worked One Chicken Urban Outfitters. You know what I mean? They were uploading their freaking analog photos. They weren't trying to make anybody, they wanted to look as cool as possible. So that was fine.
Yeah, exactly. And if you happen to be caught in the crossfire of their camera and you weren't in the group, they're tagging you in that picture where your eyes are to the back of your head and your hair's like plastered.
No, but that's the thing. They're not. The only people they're tagging in those kind of pictures are those lads that literally go out and party like they want to die that night.
Yeah.
You know that guy?
Yeah, I dated that guy.
I think some of them actually. No.
Yeah. It's my first boyfriend.
Why am I saying that? I picked my boyfriend out of bush after a cat bender. I wasn't on the bender.
Right, you dated that guy.
This is why this film wasn't that. Yeah, I also know that guy. This is why that film wasn't that far-fetched to me, because I've been a 20-something picking a grown man out of a bush who has taken too many drugs.
Same.
I'm practically sober.
Yeah, same. And then cut to like 5, 6, 7 years. I'm the grown man that's in the bush. I'm taken.
And nobody's here.
And where were you? Exactly. We go back to the very question at the beginning. Where was everybody else when I needed help? Jeez.
Oh my God.
No, that's not fair. There were definitely people around me. Thank you.
Yeah, this is a really cathartic process, this whole like podcasting situation. I'm really nervous about leaving any traces of myself in the world.
Why are we doing this
in
then?
a way that I can't control.
True. God, there's so many things that people could cut. They could cut the audio for this into all sorts of
don't know
shit.
why.
To be fair, you wouldn't need to
Like,
because we say all sorts of shit. When taken out of context.
Like, I might make, yeah. But then when I listen to it, I'm like, never as bad as I remember. In fact, I always remember thinking, like, Ruth, you're really shallow. You swim at the shallow end of the pool. Like, I think I'm so deep, and I'm just like, really? Oh my God. Anyway, that's enough derogatory talk. Yeah, I can't wait I might actually watch Euphoria now because it's made me want to watch more Zendaya, and it's made me want to watch more
Sam Levinson. You want to hear more of what that white man has to say.
Oh, also not very interesting, but both of the actors were born. Oh my God, Natalie.
What's the age difference? Is it like 20 years?
No. 10. You know John David Washington?
I do, yeah.
Who I said his
Malcolm
catalogue is insane. Like he has, yeah. Guess who his father is?
Denzel.
His surname is Washington.
Denzel Washington. Yeah, I think I knew that.
How did I not know? That feels like something you would know. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, they're just not really the things that they're shouting about this film. It's all the wrong stuff. They should have been like written by a white man, starring Denzel Washington's son, and mixed race actress Zendaya.
Oh my God. I'm also always surprised that she was born in Oakland, in California.
Why? Why do you think that she would have been? Why?
She just, I'm like,
Would she feel like an East Coast girl? Like what? What do you mean?
Yeah. Oh, okay. You know when she said to him that he'd grown up with lots of privilege or whatever.
Right. Yeah. And she didn't have a backyard.
Yeah. I'm not saying everywhere, but Oakland's not like a hugely affluent.
Yeah, it's
given us some of the best musicians going there. Shout out to Oakland. But yeah.
Where did you think that she would have been born or grown up?
Suburban,
somewhere
no
more
shade.
like
that sounds shady. Everything I say sounds shady, so I'm just gonna shut the fuck up.
just go with it. It's fine.
Oh my God. But yeah.
What are we going to watch next week?
Oh God. So yeah, oh my God, you know what I'm like, if I don't write.
Oh, this is fun. It's kind of like a.
There's going to be problem with the I shouldn't say there's going to be a problem. Okay. So far on the list, we've got, oh my God, the Britney documentary's on tonight because I haven't seen it. It's on.
Oh, is it? Where? No, me either.
But from 9 p.m. it's on Now TV.
It must be on.
So it's like on demand. Yeah. I can't remember.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. I feel like we should obviously watch that, but I don't know if I don't know how I feel about talking about it.
Haven't we spoken about Britney extensively on this podcast, or was that offline?
Yeah.
We're so involved.
I don't know. Oh my God, because we've definitely spoken about Crossroads.
Yeah, Crossroads is on the list, which reminded me. If we watch the dog and
right,
Crossroads,
that's it, yeah,
then we can have a break. And I said Zendaya sounds suburban. Can you hear me right now? Oh my God. This is so random, but when
you literally had a rant last week about walking around in the suburbs where you live.
The suburbs is awful. They hate the blacks. They hate them. Natalie, I can't go into Tesco local anymore.
Why? What happened?
Okay. So I feel like sometimes when I go in there, people are following me.
Like people that work there or people shopping?
Oh no, people that work there. The people that are shopping stand way too close to me for such a small shop, but I've found a way to maneuver. I'm the soy milk because I keep it in the most awkward place. Right.
Body rolling out the way.
That would be so. Oh my god.
Excuse me, police, there's someone being ethnic in this shop.
Okay, so yeah, this is what happened.
Sorry, I'm going to hell, but
it's like the introduction to that NERD song. It's mad ethnic right here. Well, I think it's a good song. Anyway, whatever. Shout out to NERD.
Right. So you're in little Tesco, you're in Tesco local, and you're being followed around.
This guy has the milk, right? You know those trolley things? Okay, the thing is,
he's got that. Oh, right. Okay. He's carrying
he's
all
got
the
all
milk.
of this massive.
And you're like, hey, got milk?
It's not that kind of story, focus. And then he starts
got it.
all over himself, and I'm just like, whoa. No, it's even more. Well, it's not that ridiculous. So I'm like looking for the soy milk, and I just see a guy with a big trolley go past me and look at me down the aisle, and I'm just like,
Mm-hmm. So look at you. He's rolling it on the other end of the aisle, and he looked at you, and
but I don't see what's on the trolley. But he's just come from the area where they keep the milk, and then he goes towards the stock room, but he's not gone long enough for me to think he's in the stock room. Then he comes back, and the trolley is full of milk, and he's going back to that exact same place. And actually, I'm already looking out, and he stares at me, and then he looks away. And I'm just like, did you just pretend to go and get something so you could see what I was doing?
Yeah, I'm crouching by soy milk.
Or did he really swap the trolleys? But I'm just like, this guy's staring at me. So I go to pay. I never complain. I always just swallow it. Like even when that guy scanned my alcohol for me and put it down. And my cousin was like, what if they were just trying to be helpful? I was like, they're not being helpful for anyone else. He's just making sure I scanned it. The time I just walked in, and as soon as the guy saw me out of the corner of his eye, he locked the you know the part where you go to get in the till? There's like a door. He sees me, he locks the door. Yeah. How am I supposed to take that? And even if he was like, oh no, I just remembered. You just saw me and remembered you need to... Do you know what I mean? I'm just like...
Yeah. This is... What about me prompted you to lock the cash away?
You are stressing me out, sir. Oh my God. It happened. So he saw somebody getting stuck on... Sorry, I know I've got so many racist stories. This is yesterday.
No, but we didn't finish the other story. The milk.
Okay. So I'm leaving. I've paid. I'm leaving. This is eating you up. Just say something. So I say to the other guy behind the till, I'm just like, I'm not in... I said, it might be in my head, but I feel like every time I'm here, someone's following me.
Yeah.
And he went, why would you think that? And I'm just like, are you going to make me say it? But he wasn't white, which always complicates things.
What?
Well, I would guess he was of Pakistani descent. I am just guessing. Or he looks Bangladeshi.
Right, okay, so then you can't be like, what did you say?
No, it's not. And it's just like, it's just the way
I
he
just
set it up.
get a vibe, yeah. I can't.
No, I was just like, every time I'm looking for something, it's like somebody's looking at me or something like that. And he was just like, oh, it's probably just in your head. And I was leaving, and I was just like, I wanted to kick off, but I was like, don't kick off. Because, and I go to the other Tesco, so there's another Tesco local that's further away. And obviously nobody gives a fuck when I'm in there.
Oh, but then you've just been robbed of... That's what, I don't know, what, 5 minutes of your life on either side of the journey to go to the longer
one is more than 5 minutes, but I'm not going there again. I'm not going in. I know I'm going to have to go in there eventually, but I just feel like that's a warning shot. So as I'm shopping, if I see it again, I'm going to actually complain to Tesco.
Yeah, but
because I've given fair warning. No, they might.
I warned you once. That was enough. I'm not
going to tell you again. But then
they're not going to do anything.
They might. People get
Oh.
fired for nothing. Good luck. I know how it feels. This is the first time I've ever lost a job, and I'm just like, I couldn't give a fuck. It's so bad. But honey, you've got to understand, I was not invested.
And it was not a brilliant working environment,
to say the least.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So this is what happened
Good.
to Josh yesterday. This is my last story.
Right.
So he said to help somebody with their scooter, not a motorbike, a scooter, because it was stuck. And obviously when he's in Cyprus, he travels on them. So he was trying to show them what to do.
Sorry, I like how you say, obviously when he's in Cyprus, he travels on them. Like we were like, I didn't even know that, let alone our listeners.
You know, when you're in certain parts, like you get like a scooter.
You get about on a
it's just
scooter.
easier. Like if you're in Rome or whatever, if you're in some parts of Italy, you just
I was going to say, I was like, I get that some people might, me, not a chance. I'm not getting
but
on a
that
scooter.
guy was like, oh, no, it's okay. It's stuff like that. Everyone's thinking you're trying to rob them. And it would be funny if it wasn't so bad for your mental health.
Like many things that are bad for your mental health. Objectively, maybe it would be funny. So wait, what happened to Josh? Or was that just he went to help somebody? Oh, and then that guy was like, "Please step away from the bike. Step away from the vehicle. I do not need your help."
Did you ever hear that story? I don't know if it was true, but that story about that pub that opened, I think it was Spencer that told us. So that actually, you're not allowed to say people's names on this, are you? Somebody that we
You've said multiple people's names.
Somebody we used to work with who also lived in the same area as us had told us a story about a pub that had, I feel like I've told this story on the podcast, and it was like a pub that had recently opened, like one of those artisan pubs, whatever. Bearing in mind this is Clapton, right? This literal child, I think they were supposed to be 13 or 14, but basically a child who had just been stabbed ran in on opening night and like, can you help me? And they turned them away because they were bleeding. And that's like the darkest gentrification story I've ever heard in my life. And I still don't know if it's true, but I was like, fucking hell, that's a kid.
But it could be true.
It sounds like it probably happened, to be honest. Why would someone make that up?
I think about this, and this can sound really, really macabre and quite dark, but you know, like if you're watching, which I never do anymore because, like, I don't need to. I can make my own goddamn decisions. Watching a horror film, like I would never choose to do that anymore because I choose not to. But once upon a time, I used to always watch them, and I have it on good authority that some people still do. Anyway, so in a horror movie, you know, if you're like people running around being, you know, or even actually in like a murder thing, any kind of thriller, if you're like in somebody's pursuing you and you're like kind of screaming for help and whatever, I sometimes think if I heard screams here, would I like what would I do? Would anybody like no, well, would I like open the door? No, but you know, like so it's kind of like and sometimes or in a film or in a thriller you're like, oh, just fucking knock on somebody's door, just like that, it'll be all right. But then I'm like, if I was in a situation where I'm at home and I'm hearing somebody like banging on the door and like screaming and shouting, I'm terrified that they're going to hurt me.
I think you're underestimating your like human instinct to help people. Like if I hear somebody banging and screaming on the door, yeah, I'm shitting myself, but my instinct is to run down and see who it is and what's going on. And I probably would let them in, even if I've been in so many situations, and some of them in Clapton, where I've gone against my judgment, and I have not because somebody was in immediate danger, but I've given someone the benefit of the doubt, and it's likely to my own detriment. But you just and you beat yourself up and you beat yourself up. But the thing is, like, who gives a shit? Like, what are you going to do? Let somebody potentially, like, you can't, in that accident you're talking about, you're not going to let some, like, imagine if you looked through the letterbox and you saw someone bleeding. Yeah, you'd shit yourself, but you're fucking letting them in the house. That's a great way to rob somebody.
No, I don't mean like if somebody was bleeding. Obviously, that's a really immediate thing. But if
they're just asking,
and I'm thinking about like a crazy situation that is,
I'm letting them
there's
in.
a bit more.
I'm letting them in.
Horror movie-ish, and if that,
unless it was like.
Well, yeah, no, you're like, unless it was like this situational, that situational, they look like this or that, or if I was scared or whatever.
I
like
open the door, it's like a middle-aged white man. I'm like, you're fine. I slam the door in his face.
Fuck you, yeah.
Call the police. No, I'm gonna have to help. Because why else would somebody bang on your door? Also, one time I got lost and I knocked on the door and it turned out to be this girl from school that I hated, and she helped me. I was just lost. I didn't know where I was.
What a coincidence.
But yeah, I'm opening the door and I'm helping them. It's just, that is what it is. Because bleeding, are you crazy? Of course I'm letting you in. Even if you're being pursued, once you're in my house, what are they going to do? Knock the door down? Good luck. I mean, yeah. I mean, I hope. But yeah. Whoever it is, like, if somebody's being chased by, like...
But if you don't know that they're being chased...
Please help me. Yeah, I'm going to let them in, and even if they kill me, I'll be like, of course. I'll be like, well, of course, this is how I go. I'm an idiot.
She died helping.
She died as she lived. No common sense. Oh my God.
It's, yeah, I don't know what I would do, but I think there's also like, yeah, and I wonder.
I know you.
But how many people's houses would they knock on before maybe getting to a me or a you? Well, definitely a you.
Honestly, on your road, I think you're like the first person who would open. Your neighbours look, the neighbours next door, they're not letting anybody in their house.
Which way?
Left. They have a black car.
Oh,
they're not letting. Did you see what I mean? Don't knock on that door. I feel like
you won't be able to hear them over the music. He's honest to God, like lockdown, schmockdown on his side.
Really?
Absolutely.
He doesn't seem like I don't think he was a party guy.
But he has 2 cars.
Oh, he does. He looks like he's got money.
Yeah. Oh my God, they've just done a
I wouldn't knock on their
I say
door.
they, and no, but do you know what they've put in the? Well, he's put in his loft conversion a fucking sauna. No fucking joke.
Do you know what they should do?
He's bought another extension, not so that he could have more space, have a family, whatever, so that he could have a fucking sauna. And honestly, he blares music so loud during the summer. He's had people round constantly during this pandemic.
Why don't you call it? It's a 200.
Because I'm like one of those things. But sometimes I'm like, listen, I've said to my sister, like, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna call the hotline. This is so disrespectful. I can't believe that he's doing that. Like, he's also putting everybody else on the street at risk. And we're not doing anything. But then I'm like, oh God, but is that exactly? I feel like I've also asked you about the rule, like snitching, and you're like, you just don't want to be a snitch. I feel like everybody that I say, they're all like,
no, that's
you just don't want to. I get it, but you just don't want to be a snitch. But then that's how people like him carry on.
I would snitch on that guy. I would snitch on that guy because I don't know why, but I hate that guy.
We all do.
As soon as I saw him, I would snitch on that guy. You crazy? £200. Check, please.
What do you mean? You get, as in the snitch gets the £200? Are they incentivizing snitches?
Of course, the Conservative government are incentivizing snitches.
I did not know this.
Very on brand. Honestly, if it was anybody else, I'd be like, Natalie, don't. The guy's a fucking asshole. He looks like he takes advantage of people for a living. Fuck that guy.
I think he's a banker.
And his sauna. I feel like he needs a gentrification prize and he'd win. I put a sauna in my loft. Also, like, yeah, you should, when you get the money, you should, like, I don't know, spend it all on like revenge and just do something really obnoxious to his house.
Lord knows we've watched enough Shondaland TV shows to know that revenge is a dish best served.
I don't know what kind of revenge you could get for 200 quid. Obviously, I don't mean injure the man. Shaving cream on his
There's
windows.
not much scheming you could do for 200 quid.
I mean, not the... Okay.
Toilet paper.
You might be able to get him jumped for 200 quid, but you shouldn't do it, Natalie. Don't go to the dark side.
I'm not even going to snitch on him, and you're like, look, just don't get him jumped.
I know what you're thinking.
No, I would be afraid that he would.
It is so much to snitch than you think it will be.
Yeah, because there's been times where I'm like, oh, I'm going to do it. I'm going to call because like, when it all boils down to it, I'm not being a negative Nancy by saying him having his fucking parties every other summer. Yeah, it's a bit annoying, but whatever. Yeah. It's summer. You want to be outside. And the music that you're playing isn't too bad. It's fine. It doesn't bother me that much. To be honest, sometimes the playlist bangs, so it's totally fine.
That's fine.
But during a pandemic, I'm sat here on my fucking own.
That's it. My God, that's the thing.
I'm playing by the rules. Come on.
It builds resentment. Like, you're like, I'm lonely and you're having fun and people are dying. Doesn't make sense. And no matter what, you're going to be fine. No, you should snitch. It's not snitching, it's whistleblowing, as somebody once put it.
Blow that whistle and claim that £200 and buy yourself a gold whistle.
Oh my God. Can you get a gold whistle for £200? You can definitely get a silver whistle. I don't know. You can get a silver whistle. I prefer a silver whistle.
mean, you just get a brass whistle.
I feel like I'd leave it somewhere, it would get wet and then, oh no.
It would go green, yeah.
And I'm not going to polish it or take care of it. Brass is so hard to take care of. Well, it isn't. It just requires maintenance, and some is way too much for me, honey.
I'm not doing any maintenance.
We've gone way over time.
No. It's fine.
Oh my God,
I've been keeping track, but I think
never slagged off Joanna Lumley. I'll do it in my Instagram stories.
Oh gosh, yeah.
She was basically talking about how Brexit has been really hard on all of us. And first of all, don't tell me something's been hard on me when it's been way harder on me than it has on you.
And it's your contemporaries that have done this to us.
It's just like, these are the times where you really do have to acknowledge that we are not all the same. Like, grow up. Not the same at all. Like, I am not going up to like somebody who literally like has to work in like in the middle of lockdown, the first lockdown, who works in an Amazon warehouse working from home and being like, this has been hard on all of us. It's not the same. Like, what they're doing is benefiting me while I'm safe. It's not like it's
while also putting them at risk.
And for the dumbest stuff that people are doing, like, what?
But my God, if our Amazon deliveries don't arrive next day, same day, if that was what was offered to me, oof.
Oh my gosh, she said something about Brexit as well. Get it done. I hate her.
Get it done? Then why is she saying that Brexit's been hard on us all?
That what I originally read that irritated me was a week ago, which was her interview about.
And you've been stewing on this. This has been fermenting.
But 10 hours ago, according to the Daily Express, Joanna Lumley brilliantly pinpointed why the UK voted Brexit. Let's get out. Okay, this sounds like a mess.
Shit, what did she say?
She admitted she understood why people wanted to get out of the EU, but that's the Evening Standard. Oh no, it's not the Evening Standard, because the Evening Standard is really problematic. So they'll skew it to say however they want it, but I don't know what the Express do. Lumley has tried to
the same. I would have thought.
Yeah.
That's all publications. No,
Not all of them.
go on.
Independent, The Guardian.
No. What does it? What does the Express say? Can we get back?
Okay, it says Lumley also. The thing is, they've just taken random quotes. Lumley also warned that Europe had changed, Britain joined the EU, and that it could be harder for the UK to go back to being independent and sovereign. These, for me, like sovereign is.
Yeah.
The people who wanted to leave said 40 years ago this didn't exist, and so it cannot now. What's the problem? The problem is 40 years ago, didn't it? The EU, people don't realise the EU came about after World War II. So it was like the
Yeah.
ECC before that.
It's the biggest peacekeeping, or the most successful peacekeeping organization.
It's like saying, well, healthcare wasn't free before and we were fine, so why is it free now? Like, you really want that? Like, what's your point? There's so many things you could say.
No, yeah, it's dumb. Yeah, like, well,
really
women couldn't vote before, and it was fine. Yeah, you don't want it now, do you? It'd be easy for you to stay at home and bake pies.
Said there wasn't a problem. You didn't have to get a visa, but Europe was because none of Europe belonged to itself. Now they formed a club and we've decided to leave the club. Hey, but we're just the same. The club same. The club, because previously the club never existed. When I tell you this woman speaks from the firmness of her ass cheeks, people think I'm joking. I get it. She has a brilliant, soothing voice, and there is something about her, but she talks a lot of shit.
But when written in black and white, it makes no sense.
Yes.
You're like, you listen to her say that, you're like, yes, that, I hear you.
But she's also saying, there's another article in The Guardian from a week ago. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get it together. Joanna Lumley urges PM to stop detonation of bombs that deafen Wales. Is that the problem with? Listen, darling.
Please set off the bombs that hit that don't, for God's sake. Just let the whales have their hearing. Don't you know how much they rely on their sonar? Without a hearing, they can't. Speak to each other.
I'm with her, like, there's no need to deafen the whales, but that is wild.
Yeah. Like, maybe just.
Oh my God.
She should just urge the Prime Minister to not detonate bombs.
The only way this makes sense is if they're just, okay. It's caused by offshore bomb disposal. So they're just getting rid of the bombs. They're just letting them off to get rid of the bombs.
They're just throwing away, like, boop, boop.
To make sure that it's better to detonate, because you watch so many films where there's like,
because if you just leave
an old bomb, it's like those films go fuck up. Oh my God, she is just giving me. Oh, is this a joke or is she? I don't know. What's she gonna say next? Oh, I can't find the article. Cool. I've just seen the Daily Mail version, which is gonna give me the most problematic version. Oh fuck it, I'm gonna do it.
And then the retargeting that you're going to get afterwards. Why don't you just go into your cache?
Oh, because it's on my other laptop.
Oh. Bougie.
It's on my notebook that barely.
In all those huge adventures I've been doing for the past 10 years, we have stories that we haven't been able to fit into the programmes. I've been going.
This is the voice that lets her get away with talking absolute shit.
This is the M&S food advert voice that will just let you get away with a multitude of sins.
Oh, I really wish I could find that article. Because it's just so good.
Well, I'm sure this does make for riveting.
Okay, I found
listening.
a better one. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I forget. I think I'm on a video chat, Tilly, and I just talk. Oh my gosh. Do you want to give some filler while I find it?
Right, yeah. So today has been. We're filming on a Tuesday. Okay, good. I was going to launch into a whole speech about, not even a speech. I was just going to say it's Pancake Day. There, that's it. My God. That's your lot.
You know I love Pancake Day. I take it very seriously. I'm going to have my pancakes once we're done. They're cooked and ready.
Oh,
okay,
nice.
She said, we're going through a mea culpa thing. What does that mean, mea culpa?
Mm-hmm. Mea culpa. My fault. It's a law thing.
Oh, I should really know that.
It's a contract law thing.
No wonder I failed contract law twice. Okay, we're going through a mea culpa thing in this country right now that says everything we do is
through my fault. Yeah, my fault.
Let me use her voice.
Kind of right.
Everything we do is good, and we are the sickest nation. Everything is our fault. It's our fault the pandemic has run on. Bitch. I'm sorry, but it's our fault we left Europe.
Wait, hold on. I thought she was saying that. Oh, is this the one where she says Britain we're good people?
It's our fault we left Europe.
She implores.
It is our fault. I'm not including myself.
Who? No one else voted. You voted for this.
Being awful, but I think we're not awful. We are good people. But I love that she's like, we are the sickest nation. Yes, clearly accurate. Britain is arguably the sickest nation. Yeah. And I love that she specifically talks about leaving Europe and the pandemic running over. Other stuff is just implied in it's our fault for being awful, meaning I'm guessing the slave trade, colonization,
everything else. Yeah. It's our fault for let's just say being awful.
She is a mess.
Wink, wink.
But I think we're not.
I think you know what we mean. But
the part that isn't in here that is the funniest is when she's talking about how the pandemic has been hard for everyone. But I say if you're in a good position, keep carrying on. I'm just like, that is such a British. She doesn't.
Wait, so what if you're in a bad position? So like, if you're in a good position, then just like keep calm, carry on, and if you're in a bad position, well, you're fucked.
Addressing her peers.
I have no.
Oh my God, it's like sometimes this is so childish, but a few weeks ago, because the way I've seen Jeff Bezos is really the first time as an adult that I've conceptualized what it is to be a wealth hoarder, whereas Bill Gates was like just getting away with it. And this is so silly, but I just kept thinking about how we comfortably would call Bill Gates a philanthropist, and I would just start laughing like to myself because it's just so you can't you're not.
Yeah, it's not fair. Why do we never talk about the fact? Why is no one ever saying that the only rich people are philanthropists? You can't be a poor philanthropist.
And also, you're too like really proportionately compared to the average person. You just give money to charity. That's not nice because you could.
Yeah. Why are we praising you? Oh, they're such good people, such philanthropists, giving away enough of their net worth that they are one less zero down in the total net worth of them.
It's so funny.
But I mean,
oh my God,
Jeff Bezos, that's another level. You know, he could give. I feel like it was probably Harry who pointed out. I mean, obviously, I did the research. If I looked at the numbers, I could have figured this out myself. But I'm not doing that. He said that if Jeff could give everyone in the world £1 million, every human in the world £1 million, he would still have.
Oh my God, there's only like 7 billion
He
of
would
us.
still have $180 billion. Sorry, not £1 million, but probably $1 million. He would still have $180 billion. That's disgusting. He could actually end world hunger.
Run me my money.
That is disgusting. Give me my $1 million.
And he has the audacity not to tax. I'm not paying tax either. Do you know what? Let's not play tax together. But don't worry, Joanna Lovely is here to let you know that everyone who's okay just needs to carry on.
Just be okay, Jeff. But also, let's remind ourselves that this is after he got divorced.
Oh, that's another thing. There's a few people coming online to say how much money they've made during the pandemic and saying the pandemic might have not been a bad thing.
Oh no, it's a terrible, terrible thing. But there have been a ton of Corona winners.
No, but okay.
That's a crude thing to say, but there are people that have benefited from.
But there are some people who have just coincidentally, for whatever business they have, they've coincidentally made money. And those people have been ordinary folk as well, not just like super grossly rich people. People maybe having online business who are now have like a sustainable, profitable business. Really happy for you, but shut the fuck up. How are you going to tell me a pandemic?
But respectfully, fuck off. But also, do you have a free shipping code or a discount code or anything?
I'll buy the clothes, but you need to be quiet.
I'll buy it anyway. Yeah, God.
And there was even oh my God, a musician who said it, I've made a couple M's, and I was just like,
oof. Okay, no, that's a bit much. Don't tell me about your millions.
I know it's like a celebration of something that seems so improbable coming from where you're coming from. And you're not you're not on the super rich scale. So you've just you have a very good, for some coming, but it's just nobody cares. There isn't. And people will be like, oh, but it's just, you're no longer, once you've made that money, you are no longer like everybody else. So that's when you need to zip it. And even hearing, I don't know, it's just mental. It's just mental. But yeah, Jeff Bezos, man, what a guy. That's why, I don't know, I'm not as good as people who are just rich compared to Jeff Bezos, because he's just taking the piss out of all of us right in front of us.
That's just absolutely. And also, at this point, that wealth is not because of what he's done.
Yeah.
He had a good idea. He ran with it.
Yeah.
But now he's reaping the rewards of everybody's addiction to convenience.
But that's also not fair, because then it puts the onus back onto you for wanting next day delivery. That's...
It's not even, but it isn't that. There are plenty of places that you could go for next day delivery, but you don't. You still go to just. I say this buying a lot of stuff from Amazon. I'm not I couldn't. I
bought this thing that I'm using for my laptop right now, this wire that I'm using for the internet, because it's just it's. I know it will come quickly. It's known, because we love Jeff Bezos. We just need and also that is just it's just there are too many people involved. He can just make the right decision at any point. It's childish. It's ridiculous. Grow up. Pay your fucking staff more money. What is wrong with you?
With that level of wealth, what are you doing with it?
What is he on? Who is he? What is going on in his head? What's his thought process? He could be a legend. I'm not saying he should be, but imagine if he became someone who, his legacy is literally I can't. I'm sorry. Sorry, Bezos.
Yeah.
Sorry, still that bad. That shouldn't be your legacy. We've gone over, and Marie and Malcolm are a distant memory.
Oh, yeah.
I might watch that film again in a few years. It's just basically my main...
A few years.
Honestly, it's going to be a while before I can listen to it. It was just come on.
Oh my God, I've just got a notification. Are you still around? Automatically leaving session in 51, 50, 49 seconds. Yep, I'm still here. It's like when Netflix does that to you. I always feel like they're really doing you dirty there. Of course,
No,
you
but
know I'm
sometimes-
here.
have you never fallen asleep?
know I'm here. You can see me. Yeah, but then what I think is really weird is they know when I've fallen asleep because I can sit through and watch this is fucked up. I can watch like multiple episodes in a row when I'm awake, and I don't get the pop up until maybe like 2 hours, maybe 2.5, maybe 3, even potentially. Yeah, tell me this: why, when I wake up in the morning and my laptop's still open, so I obviously didn't like wake up in it, or I wasn't like, right, I need to close it down. And it's not run out of battery. When I go on to see what episode I'm on, because I'm thinking it's obviously run through a load before it's gone to sleep, it's only on like the second episode that I like remembered.
Isn't it because you haven't touched your laptop?
Yeah, but think about how often that happens when you're watching something and it just keeps cycling through and you don't touch your laptop because Netflix just like, I'll keep going to the next one.
I'm fidgety, I'll touch it. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's something built in. I just feel like I've got the money to be adding sensors. But
I feel like they know. They know when it's just me lying down watching stuff, and they know when I'm sleeping. So
let's look into it, because there must be something there.
Or, yeah, it could also, I don't know, maybe it's Apple as well. Maybe they know. By now, they probably bloody do know my sleep habits. What I watch, when I watch it, when I'm going to sleep, when the lights turned off in the room. I mean, they know everything.
Apple are literally on court record saying that Siri listens to our conversations regardless. Like, they have people going through them, and nothing has happened. Apple are like, we're watching you. And we're like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, fine.
Whatever.
It's not interesting.
Just make...
Yeah. Again, at this point, I don't care.
My only problem with Apple is that, while this is going to sound like I'm just trying to make it like my only problem with Apple, the fucking child labour, the slave labour, so unnecessary.
Oh my God. I'm sorry, I really don't mean to make light of the situation, but I really thought you were going to say the battery life of the phones. Which is totally not good, but not the same level. Not the same level at all.
It's more...
Yeah. No, I get that. Yes, I'm sorry. Fine, I'm going to hell and I'll see you there.
I'm going to let you in. And Joanna Lumley.
You're on the door. Hiya, your name's down.
What's your name? Joanna Lumley is like around talking to her.
Honestly, I don't think that would be that bad. There's people that I would like to listen to less than Joanna Lumley.
What if Joanna Lumley's in there saying like, darlings, I know we're on fire, and basically she's trying to convince you that you're not having that bad a time in hell. Sorry. That's the whole concept. It's the bad place.
She's like, listen, look, I know, darling, I know that you're on fire. I know that it's really hot and it's burning your skin. It's scorching you, darling. And I know I'm the one holding the blowtorch. But I'm good people. I'm not a bad person. I know you think that we're all awful because we're poking you with a pitchfork. But we're not awful. We're good people here in hell.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And there it is.
That's hell. Oh my God. So that somebody can make a podcast telling us how terrible the sketch show is. You can really tell this was made by Miller's mindless bitches.
Who just had too much money in their Apple computers and they just sat at home and they just
bragging about how they're so happy she doesn't have a fucking job. Listen, I'm broke. Leave me alone. Oh God.
And I spent half of last year unemployed.
It's not the same.
And it was nice. No, I'm sure a lot of... No, it's not. It was out of choice.
It doesn't count if you can afford
Work
it. You know what I mean? Because ultimately, if we're really going to get into it, who wants to work? Who wakes up and they're like, oh, I can't. Oh my God, I'm sure there are some people actually who enjoy what they do. But those people are few and far between, just because not many people have the luck being able to do what they love for a living. But yeah, I'm starting to, yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's a bit weird when it's just home, home, home all the time. I don't mind it though.
Oh my God. So are you seeing your sister often? Are you on your own, or do you get to see her?
No, I do see her, but not really. Probably not every day.
Is it not
more so at
wearing
the weekends?
Are you not feeling a bit?
What, being alone?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. This time around, it's really hit a lot harder than other lockdowns.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's not been great. But I mean, yeah, I think having a working helps.
Yeah, for sure.
But then it's just also like it. I don't know. Yeah, it's just not great. But I feel like I need to listen to Icon, Joanna Lumley, and just, it's not bad for me, so I should just keep calm and carry on.
And I feel like that's another thing about Britain. You're okay if you're not on the brink of literally, because there are so many people who are literally on the brink. Then there's this like falsehood then that you are extremely privileged. And it makes you forget that the majority of the wealth is with a very, very minimal amount. It's this idea that you're in your mind creating this idea that you're somehow in the upper echelon, like there's nothing higher. And it's just absolute bullshit. I'm like, honey, Aunt Morrison's wishing I was in Aldi because it's like literally 25p cheaper an item. And I'm calculating that I could eventually save £10. And you're telling me that I should be fucking happy. Like, food should be affordable. How about that? Like, your concerns are like making sure you can keep a roof over your head. And even though you've got like money in the meantime to get you through, it's still like that's how everyone should be. It's just the government doesn't want to give people that security. This is apparently the 6th richest country in the world. And I know half that money is made of exploitation, if not 9%. So do you know what I mean? It wouldn't be hard for them to... Yeah, like it's just because Bezos doesn't pay tax. Google, I know you're listening, you don't pay your taxes. Google, man, pay your taxes. I hate people who have like a fun business model but refuse to pay taxes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's all just smoke and mirrors, isn't it? Like this whole idea that, I mean, when I was at university, places like, if you weren't going to be a banker and like you weren't aspiring to be at Goldman Sachs or one of the other big boys, the other big places were big tech companies like the Amazons, like Apple, Google. These were the places that everyone wanted to be, even eBay, because of all this like, oh, they create this amazing culture, like they've got all of these amenities and facilities on site. They don't want you to go home. You can do your laundry at work. Why is that considered good? So they're like creating like this cool campus environment, like at work. So you've got everything that you need there, so you don't have to leave, so they can get more work out of you. Fucking open your eyes.
And then, but the thing is, the few people that do live for their work end up being in charge, and then they drive that culture even more. What they should do is they should put people that hate being there in charge. Then the place will actually improve.
For any business owners out there, we also do consulting.
We literally do.
You would like to hire us.
Oh my God, we actually do. And we're actually good at it, but get ready for some cold truth. Not from me. I'm here for the check and I'm bouncing.
What were you going to say?
A company that I used to work for that has one of these like loves work kind of guys. Like they put him in charge of like, instead of getting a HR company, they're a small tech company, people can voice their grievances to him. Honey, I was just like, I cannot. If you ask me, everyone should go freelance. Fuck the feds. Okay.
Yeah. Apart from IR35. But this is turning into a different podcast if we get into that. Because if that comes into play in April, like it's supposed to, there's no point in being freelance. Well, there is, but it makes it a bit harder.
They're taking away everything they promised you they wouldn't again. And you fell for it, you silly bitches.
Come on, Rishi. It was a solid and delay IR35 again.
Oh God, he's got his hands full.
Maybe. Doesn't he? Oof.
I wonder what his hands.
But it's all right because he's out on LinkedIn, posting pictures of where it started and where it ended. The little like 5-year-old school pictures of him versus now. Yep, he's doing it.
Okay, I'm getting really irritated by when people do. It's supposed to be when you started a project or an idea and where you are now. Not the fact that you were once a child and you
not the passing of time where it started and then where it ended because the sun went round the earth.
Inspirational. People don't get it's supposed to be like when it first I saw someone even post like their first piece of clothing they made and the last show they did. Like stuff like that is nice because it makes people who are starting out feel like do you know what I mean? You just plug it away. I don't give a fuck
where it started, nursery, where it ended, work. Yeah, same here, Nate. Same here.
Guys, I'm now a fully grown adult. I'm a human.
Where it started, age 5, where it ended.
Why did it end there?
Oh, well, yeah, where we are now. I don't know. What's the saying? It is where it started, where it ended. I don't know. Oh no, it's how it's going.
Because where it ended.
How it's going.
Imagine
right,
if,
okay.
I'm so sorry, Lord, forgive me. Imagine if somebody did how it started, a baby picture, how it ended. Fill in the blanks. I'm not
Joanna Lumley poking you with a pitchfork.
Oh my God. Okay. We actually really need to stop.
What were you going to say? What were you going to say?
Someone being in a casket, like a picture of them in a casket, but like not realizing it's in really poor taste, and then being like, "What?" And then people are like, oh, "What the fuck?" Okay,
there is a lot. Yeah. Ooh, on that note,
I
feel like this. Yeah, we're dying out here.
Stand-up comedy show. We have like, oh my God, we should.
Yeah. We've overstayed our welcome. The lights flashing. We're singing, "Oh, I'm blinded by the light."
I don't know where I thought you were going with that. I was like,
what, you mean you didn't immediately know that it was Blinding Lights by The Weeknd?
Genuinely didn't.
I'm offended.
Somebody
right,
did
okay.
one of no, I won't get into it because we'll talk about it again.
No, go on.
The child thing started to annoy me when a fan of The Weeknd put how it started, how it's going, and his baby picture and him now. And I'm just like, that's not how that works. Why didn't you do like the beginning of his career and him where he is now? Like, what are you showing me that he grew?
If we're doing that, we all started the same way.
What's not clicking here?
Like how it started, a sperm.
Sonograph. Like, that's not the game. That's cute, but that's not the game.
Or a broken condom. Sorry.
Not really. It's just that, the parents
yeah.
don't like to think about their kids as
not
not the fun ones
as a
anyway.
broken condom.
Shout out to all the messy parents.
How it started, a broken condom and an empty bottle of red wine. I want to see more of those versions. Let's be real. Maybe I don't actually.
The list is It's a Sin,
anyway.
Crossroads, Promising Young Woman,
Oh my God,
and What a Way to Go. By the way, to anybody out there, we're just anything we see or think about or mention in the conversation, we just put it on the list. There is no.
So I think firstly we need to watch It's a Sin regardless, but I think it's not if we want to steer this podcast back into the realms of comedy, that's not we're gonna be crying. I'm going to be crying a lot, so I don't. It's supposed to be very, very, very moving. And I don't know.
It's not for the podcast.
Yeah, no, we should. But the subject matter is not something that we could guide our way back into comedy with, because I think it is just.
Okay, I'll watch that on my own time. So we need to do a fun one.
Yeah, exactly. Not your time.
But Crossroads is it's funny, but it's also really dark, isn't it? Yeah.
Dark. I mean, yes, and especially when you look at it down the lens of the way Britney's life unfolded and how
I'm sick of people saying I was not complicit.
I feel like I don't know.
I've never once looked at Britney's life and thought, this is fine. I'm sorry. When you think about it, neither.
No. I just, we haven't. I think it's more with people have just, we're all still happy to talk about, oh, well, she shaved her head. She did I think.
I'm sure we've recently not on this podcast, like in real life, we have had a conversation of how blown out of proportion that was. Now we're adult women. Like, we've had that conversation so many times. Like, it was not that deep.
Yeah, as in the way that everybody else was like, this is crazy.
And I hate it when
she's being crazy.
Yeah, I hate it when sometimes institutions' behavior is off priority of the public, when that's not necessarily true. Because to think about the amount of power an institution holds is scary. But you're not going to blame me for that shit. No way. And I'm not taking responsibility for Jeff Bezos. There's so many things I'm just like, absolutely not my problem. Well, it is my problem, but not my fault.
I will not take responsibility for that. Certainly not for Joanna Lumley. Certainly not for the sickness of Britain. Or do you know what? Sorry, and this is probably the last thing we should say on this. But what's funny about this, and I say this having not read or heard the actual article or quote.
Zero research, ladies and gentlemen.
This is based on what Ruth has told me. The idea that she's saying all these things, like, all of these things are terrible, but the most terrible thing is that people are saying that we are not decent people. And we are. I think British people are thoroughly good and decent folk. Oh, did you read? Oh my God, how have we not spoken about this? That thing about the Queen actually having it written into law that her wealth could not be publicly disclosed.
I don't know why I don't know that.
Because she probably had it written into law that you didn't know it.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we can find something fun and funny. I think we should watch something. I think we should watch something on a VHS type situation, but not something so boring I can't get through it. That's another thing. I have to want to watch it.
Yeah. We could maybe revisit some of the classics that we used to watch when we were kids, but then I don't know if I want to watch any of the films that we used to watch.
There's some things I would want to watch. You've never seen a Goofy movie, which is outrageous. Look what I'm disgusted.
Guys,
I am sorry.
If you don't want us to rate a Goofy movie, please make some suggestions because I can't.
Okay, we won't watch a Goofy movie, but someone needs to let Natalie know that it's a cinematic masterpiece. Okay, it's one of the greatest films ever made.
If one of you messages us to say that Goofy is a cinematic masterpiece, is one of the best movies ever made, and we absolutely must watch it and talk about it, then I
will still say no.
Then we will, but one of you has to convince me.
And one of you has to have made it to 2 hours 27. So I'm going to just put it out there and say it's probably not going to happen. So, yeah.
We ain't watching Goofy. Anyway, yeah. Look, if you are still here with us, then thanks a bunch.
Should we watch something that is considered a feminist masterpiece? Is that a mess?
Don't think. Anna, do we want this to be a bit more lighthearted and funny?
I'm immediately like, let's watch something weird and problematic. Not saying that feminism is weird and problematic, but oh my God, whole dig me inside. Okay, what's next?
It doesn't matter. We'll discuss it because this could take another half an hour, and this is longer than a feature film. And I literally tell people that I do not have the commitment
to spend
an evening.
This is so long. But yeah, I need to go and watch.
And yet we can't stop.
I need to eat my pancakes and watch the Britney Spears documentary.
We must stop.
Can't wait to listen back to this and cringe.
Let me know where you find it.
Yay. Have a great week, guys.
Cool. Thank you so much, guys, and we will see you. Bye.
Bye.
Hold the fuck up. Rewind the tape.